I'll start fast because it's very long presentation. I had an exact 80 slides and so so since I started from JJ School of Art and then Baroda, and they were different phases. I have divided my slideshow into uh, sculptural practice, then drawings and public art project. So first we'll start from JJ's. So I'm very open, like means like I had kept JJ school. It's very sometimes it's very embarrassing now what we do and earlier what we were doing in JJ. So JJ was good college because I learned a lot of technical skills, materials, and mostly means JJ was established to most means what I really experienced in JJ. It was established by colonial British people to create a workforce for their use. But still, there is still same kind of base is continued or education is continued. But it was very important that I was in sculpture department and modeling, clay and modeling was very predominant and in JJ School of Art for 4 years, I think. So I did clay. You have to work in clay only. So these are just final year works I did. Uh, like this, no? Okay. So Kohli's what you early saw. Sorry, back then. So fisherman family, I am from fisherman family, and so it has very close relationship with. I was born with fish in hand. My mom used fish and my fish business. I, I was born in a village which is situated in city. So obviously there is influence on my practice. Here, I was exploring what can be sculpture means in diploma. Means you have to get to know sculpture because you were studying in India and then you were studying mostly Western art and Western aesthetics mostly, and we are following Western sculpture. That was major thing, and somewhere uh, most of the people used to do commissioned work, and then I liked theory and history and all. So and other artists. So I had a dilemma about those things that what really we have to do means if you are studying in theory this contemporary or modern artist and way the department is functioning, like all of them are doing commissioned works for interiors and architects. The whole large community of JJ was like different, and then what you have to do in college was very different. Like these assignments were there, and what you and problem was that sculpture department has so much dominance of a clay work only. You have to do clay work only, clay assignments in the clay work only. So still I like clay. So this was my final work. chess players. This is in copper, and I like to play in mediums, but never I got chance in JJ School of Art. So I thought I should do more. I should study more, and I found there wasn't a sculpture course in master's course in JJ that time, and so I went to MS University, and that was very different world for me. Like everybody is like doing some. There is theory class, which I loved a lot. Like, and you get to know all the artists, Indian artists, not just like Michelangelo and other, just because JJ was figurative based school. And interesting part about MSU 2 years journey was that my mom got ill, and I didn't get much money from his. I could not get my finance from home. So my dad used to send just 700 rupees, and then I had to buy 100 rupees plaster bag, and I had to work for a month with that. And these are the outcomes. So these images are very blurred. Like all of them, they are not in good condition. Like, but these are the works I did there. And then it was just for the financial problems were there for just 1 year. But you know, people complain that I don't have money for making art, but here I experienced a plaster that so many possibilities are there. Like these are the few images, but you will see the reflection in the next solo, solo, which is in which I did a lot of more these kind of sculptures. And still in Baroda, I was thinking, what is sculpture? And I started learning history in very serious manner. Means there were lots of history classes after lunch, aesthetic class, and I got to know many artists. And then there were questions that what is culture? That was means more than Indianness, because people were talking art. My fellow student, fellow partners in studio were talking about Indianness. But I felt that more we should be concerned about what is culture, and culture changes everywhere. Um, so so this was one interesting workshop done by Harvey Hood. Yeah, he was our teacher's friend, Ganesh Goen's friend, and he did one material culture workshop. And I did this. I like the easel as a space, and you know, I have a good relationship with the thread because we as a fisherman have fishing net relation, but just not a visual relation. Before nylon nets came, there were cotton nets. And you know, these nets were wholly homemade, means totally handmade and homemade. So first person who used to touch the fishing net was the kids. They used to make yarn. So these practices from what I have seen earlier, these were attractive to me. Like I still haven't made any fishing net right now, but I use thread in my sculptures, and that is the relation that as the kids used to make yarn, and the fathers and mothers used to handle the fishing net, weaving of the fishing net. So that was the practice in whole around Bombay and in Bombay also. So I just wrap this easel, and I like the way the space in between, which is a thinking space. You keep on thinking on the easel. And you know, in Baroda, you had a personal space, and you have an easel for you. You have a stool for you. Like you have own your equipment like studio, and that space habit, you have to sit in that space, you have to get used to it in this space, and that is the thinking space. And you you have to kind of inhabit that space. Then only you start your meditation or your thinking process. So my teacher, one day, I told him that I don't want to work for, like, since 10 days I haven't worked. So what he said, you just go to studio and sit there. Just don't do anything. So even today, I go to studio on Sunday also and just inhabit. I go and sit. You have to sit there. You don't work. These are the basic important practice we have to start in very early, and that was very important in Baroda, that you have one space and you can sit and do anything you want. But problem in Baroda was that there was too much history. There so much history. Wait, means one day I was doing one work, and one junior came and he said, "Ye to kaam, this work looks like that artist." Means all of them know all the artists. You can't cheat there. Means anybody, teachers here, one day, means teacher is going passing by your studio. Ah, this work look like this. Means you have to. It's like so much pressure on your head. You have to find something new. You have to go and, like, you have to brainstorm a lot before starting, because it's very open space also. So that is also good part, that some criticism is very good. Actually, sometimes I feel I take good criticism very, very positively. So this is I'll just flip. This was these works were this from this lot. These slides, they are from my exam works, and these were displayed in final display. So I was working on culture, like what can be culture, what was culture, and uh, I was there in 2003 and till 2005, and I saw lots of riots, and all of my Muslim friends could not work. There was some insecurity in there. Means I know my senior, whose whole display I did, means I helped him for whole display, and that panic and that emotional torture of religion was very how body works in these ideologies of religion, and why religion was necessary, and why the religious icons and colors were necessary. These were the questions, like this kind of, that was the culture, like divide and rule was the culture in Baroda, and I saw a lot there. So one thing also was important, that I started making some sculptures, like lemon and chili was my favorite object, and I did one. These are very big, like 9 feet, 8 feet sculptures, and I just felt that अभी अगर बड़ा काम नहीं किया तो बाद में करने को मिलेगा कि नहीं पता नहीं, and that was like it was like you have to do big works, like later I don't know what will happen, but I know I want to do big works. And this was like this was the last work, and I loved this work. Like this was the last intervention I did for an Gujarat riots, and one of the XYZ in display, one of the XYZ party wala came and asked, "What is this about?" So somewhere I manipulate the idea and told him that this is that and that. But how much our body takes, like there are many things which our body takes, and it repels sometimes, it absorbs. And I was playing with body and icons or iconic colors. So, and this work, there is Damien Hirst's work of big shark. He had done one shark, and obviously it was inspired by Steven Spielberg's film Jaws, which the shark work. But here I actually imitate him, and this way this form, orange saffron form, is consuming bodies for division and many other things. So that was my interest. I passed out, and then 2006 I applied for Kalagoda Festival, and I got sponsorship from Pandol Art Gallery, and I did this lemon and chili, very large. It's kind of 7.5 feet large, big lemon and chili, and everybody liked it. Like, and I purposely made it bigger because, you know, when lemon chili is lying in the road, on the road, so mom used to tell that you shouldn't walk on it. But here what happens, in Kalagoda Festival, everybody was touching because of the material. It was in thread, polyester thread and cotton thread. So I like the way it filled up the gap of conditioning. And they just forgot because of the material. When material changes, how sculpture changes, how sculpture behaves, or how sculpture interacts with audience. So I titled it Unbranded Guards Branded because, you know, we buy huge Mercedes or good products and we protect it with this 2 rupee ka 5 rupees. Now it's 10 rupees actually. That time it was 2 rupees or 3 rupees. So I like that idea also in this. And I made these cases. But now it was like very polished acrylic and iron made sculptures. So I later, after that project, I did solo project in Pandol Art Gallery. That was in 2008. And Pandol Art Gallery is so awkward, means earlier gallery. Now they are reconstructed. But I was thinking what sculpture can come, but I was also thinking about scale, larger scale, and how the scale will occupy in this space. And I had few portholes, molds of the portholes, and few molds of the intertidal portholes. Intertidal portholes are the portholes which are generated because of degradation of the water in the ocean in intertidal space. Intertidal space is when there is low tide, you get big space, like when there is a rocky shore, there are a lot of portholes. So I had documented those portholes, and I did this huge floor. It's 300 square feet of floor. You can walk on it, and it is made out of rubber and wood, and you can interact with it. So I like the way I was exploring sculpture here, but also I was coming closer to my roots, because since 2008 I started unlearning my schoolings, like Baroda School and JJ School. So what you had seen the plaster objects earlier, that is its reflection. This is the reflection of the plaster objects. Now it has become stoneware. And you know, I went to Baroda in 2003 and I came back in 2005. Till then there was a lot of boom in construction market also, and after 2 years I saw lots of buildings in construction going on in all over Bombay. And I thought that how the city is turning into phallic forms. So we'll see one by detail works. So I'd taken some erotic and phallic forms. Speed is okay, no? Means flipping, yeah, fine.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
So interesting part about this work was what that in JJ's there is a lot of reflection always going on, back and forth. Like in JJ's we used to make clay work, then take a mold, and then you were not allowed to do ceramics. You were not allowed to go to printmaking. In Baroda, that was not there. In Baroda, rather, you can go to any department and work anywhere. But I was very good at clay work, and when I started these ceramic works, I found that there are so many working possibilities. In modeling, you can assemble, you can pot, you can leather hard condition, you can work. Then after drying, you can work. Then after biscuiting, you can work, and then glaze. Means you have multiple possibilities of working into ceramics. But problem in ceramic, I found that was most of the people are. I was not totally attracted to pottery. I was most probably considering sculpture, how sculptural forms can generate in this material, and how I can express my idea as a city, because the material itself was very fragile, and I see cities are more a fragile matters, because you don't know outside from outside they look good, but inside they are very fragile. There is violence going on. Rather more our villages, if you see, they are very land spreaded, and they are social spaces. Means there isn't a violence. But now myself I am experiencing the white cube space generates a violence. Second solo, this was in 2010. So I slowly I was coming to my fishing communities issues and concerns or inquiries. So this was a fishing net which I gathered from one fisherman who came on fishing wharf, and this was aged in water because of acid. And this is a nylon fishing net. So I took that from him, and I thought I'll restore it, but I could not restore. I did this sculpture. I did clay work of this sculpture, and so I did clay work of this sculpture and mended that fishing net, and I made a sculpture out of it. So I found this more relevant because it was very direct, and I like sometimes you have to go work directly, but again weaving means still you see I haven't started weaving fishing net, because everybody asks me, you are fisherman, you should weave fishing net and make sculptures of fishing nets. Well, I don't know when it will come. It should come gradually or naturally. It should come. And why should I do? Means each material has its own identity, and you can't use like that. Means it's like you have to be with it. You have to inhabit that material and think about it.
What is the medium that it's a rubber?
Yeah, silicon.
Silicon.
Yeah, silicon rubber and
Latex.
sound fishing net. Yeah. So these were the drawings I did earlier for this, and this sculpture didn't work like this. Because you can't do drawing, can't be sculpture, or sculpture can't be drawing. Like, I totally changed the idea of sculpture here and drawing as in here, because drawing stands alone. What I really feel is studying sculpture and practicing sculpture, you can't draw sculpture. Sculpture has one physicality and materiality to it, and drawing is different part. You can make a layout, you can make a sized layouts and all those things, linear drawings, but that can't give a feeling of sculpture. Sculpture has one physicality. So more closer, there are a lot of women who are making rice rotis in my community because of pollution. The fish is getting less in river estuaries and ocean. So some of the people are uh, uh, abandoning fishing business. They are doing. There is a lot of flux going on in community. So this is actual rice roti, and I have stitched, dried, and this reflection will come in next slides, in coming slides. So I saw many fluxes in the city. From these were lying on the uh, outside the buildings. There are few I have collected and few I have made. These are the chutney makers. Seal bhatta you call. We call in Marathi varvanda pata. So there is a huge dilemma that Western art has created, and Western art and Indian art means Indianness and uh, Indianness and Western. So mostly Indian art works in Western way, but I feel that India is very vast, and more over Indianness, we should think about local and a locality. We should work in locality. This is sorry, I hadn't written. So this was very long. After long break, uh, I did a solo with Tark. So Pandol Art Gallery transformed into auction house, and then they stopped showing artists. So after I did a lot of very different works, group shows, and in between, and there was like a huge gap of 6 years, and after that, but I was making these sculptures. These molds were ready. So here I came very closer to ocean beings. So this is sea slug, and you know, sculpture is like very silent, very static, somewhere waiting for something, I feel. But it is rooted on the space. It has physicality, and it occupies a space. But when I wanted to make a sea slug, how I can capture the movement of it. So it's challenging. If you do this in drawing or painting, it's very easy for capture. But in sculpture, it's very difficult because nothing is around, and it's like uh, you have to go to very simplified and minimal level. So this is solo, which was curated by Nupur Desai. And earlier I was not doing drawings, and I was not, it's like just doing sculptural layouts sometimes. I like to work directly in materials mostly. But here there is one more reflection which will come in the Roti Wala Kam, where I did one manuscript. Sorry. So these are drawings from Autopolis Pulia, and this was in Pune.
So Parag, there was a question from Project. Can you talk about the making? Probably the previous ones.
Sculpture?
This series, right, Projekta?
Each work.
Each work, making.
Yes, if you can talk, Parag, if you can talk about how you got the form and maybe the relation between the material and the form and the possibilities of it maybe.
Yeah. We have less time, that's why I had to run actually. So here, I have one relation that transparent resin is very toxic materials. I work with toxic materials purposely because that's what we are. But here, transparent resin was really, it's good material. It's good material. It's harmful material also. But, the way this whole series came out, this whole chronicle show came out was the shadow you see, I haven't imagined. Means I didn't work on shadow. I didn't work for shadow also. What shadows you see, these all shadows were not
Accident.
These were accidental. When we all were displaying sculptures and we put on lights, then we got to know कि ऐसा light, this kind of light will come. But earlier I was fascinated with the material because material has one good quality of good sensibility, which goes with the oceanic form. So that's why I use this material. And I tried glass, but glass was not working. It was like glass is too transparent, and it was not working with these series. But after 2016, I have stopped this. Again, I have started this. I usually stop those materials and go to other materials usually. So drawing was like you will get to know the reflection of the drawing in next. Why I started drawing, but Autopolis Pulia was very important show, and Nupur wanted to show drawings of mine because I never show drawing in solos. Yes, I do sculpture, so sculpture only, not drawings. So these are some are though there on Instagram. So these drawings are more like somewhere I can't express more into sculpture, where my sculptures environment or where my sculptures come from. So that gives me freedom in drawing. It's got drawing. It's kind of exchange that is which goes on in drawing and sculpture. But moreover, I am sculptural guy. I want to do sculpture for this. You will know. You will be like you'll be saying when Parag is going to show me figurative in figures in my practice. So there is no, but there are figures. I am bringing people into my project. You will see. Because I feel like these species as from indigenous community, uh, these species have their own space, and we are not giving them space. That's why we have come to the edge of climate change. That's why I feel, and I think drawing somewhere has that capacity. So what I'd call it intertidal portholes. So I'm studying those. Is my whole childhood was very different. So these are not mountains. The backside, these are barnacles, and how the space is getting transformed or in flux. So this I did when the left side drawing I did very early when climate change was officially declared. So I did this drawing on left side. And if you come to Mumbai, you will find these kind of landscapes in drying fish mandavs we call. It's kind of scaffolding on which dry fish is dried. And excess fishing. So government has, we were not fishermen, ocean fishermen. We were fishing, but in 5 kilometer zone of from the periphery of land and ocean. But government in 60s bought a lot of deep sea fishing because they wanted to generate revenues from the fishing, and then environmental impact of that fish kind of fishing is very bad. But we were asked because we were expert. They felt that we were expert. But now many people are quitting. We like estuarial fishing, like river fishing and nearby fishing or intertidal fishing. Intertidal fishing is very famous, and most of the seafood found in intertidal zones are consumed by coalies only. So this was a show, online show curated by Turk team, and there were 3 drawings of mine. This I did in lockdown actually. Thinking through traditions, the Piramal Art Residency. Actually, there were a lot of different my cultural performances, which are very old and related to nature. So you can find some of the images on my website also, related images. But this residency was very important for me because there were traditions in this residency which I had to show. And if you see this armature, there is armature in this. At the bottom there are 4 rings, and there are 9 wires on which whole sculpture stands. So this is a goddess which we do puja in September. and it is called Bharali Shraddha, and it is in Pitru Paksha, and it is done for protection of children and well-being of children. But I somewhere felt that our people are getting displaced and I need to protect my community. So I used my earlier sculpture, in which now this is the new reflection in my sculptural practice, and I did this drawing. So I'll come to the sculpture again back. I evolved it, and there was series of 9 to 10 sculptures which I showed in Swiss Embassy also. This is also one mother goddess which my home have, means my ancestral home. There is one armature which is made, and but it is means if you see earlier, we put flowers into this. Instead of that, I'm using lemon and chili. So here also, if you see, there is armature. Means we have permanent armatures, and you just have to put needles. They are needles kind of thing, and you just have to arrange the flowers into it. But I arranged the sea here. I arranged the ocean beings, and the city is there. This is collection of my mom, who collects leftovers from our home, and she just keeps some things. Sometimes I need, then I ask, then it's not there, then she gets fed up. There, like she always keeps on collecting something for me. These are food leftovers, and then I arranged it in the same armature style. So this was in Swiss Embassy. Shaunak Mohbani curated in 2018, I think so, and I did 7 to 8 sculptures. But now lemon and chili is disappearing from it, and I'm going away. If you see the sculptures, now it is getting away from chili and lemon. This is the process. The color blind is like, we were not believing, we as a indigenous community, we were not believing in Brahminical practices. Brahminical practices started from when Marathas came for our navy here in Bombay. So we were believing in naturalism. We were worshipping moon, ocean, and few mother goddesses like this. But slowly, Maratha Brahmins started conditioning, and it came into our. Now we are like Hindus. We follow Hinduism, but earlier it was very different. Right? Problem with the Brahminical stories is that Brahmins have connected they have created stories around our performances also. That is biggest problem. So I did this in various colors like blue, green, orange, how the community was affected by color, and color as a power structure, color as all over the world, how it is taken as a color politics, we can say. And thread is all still there, but I haven't. You can see they are actually made out of thread only, and still I am not here, not making fishing nets. Oh, sorry. Public art projects. So in 2010, our Mohile Parekh Center and Art Oxygen, which Art Oxygen is an environment organization, and they promote art and culture through environment. And I did one big catch project. So I just collected this trash, chappals, thermocol, and bulbs, and many other things, trash from creek, from fishermen's, and I again made new species of fish. So this was workshop actually. Moile Parek Center has arranged some NGO kids from NGO, and local kids were there, and there was Fleur D'Souza of Xavier's. She was head of history department. She talked about locality, like Thane as a history of Thane. Thane was a historic place. It has a place, it's an ancient port, and she was talking about that to the children. She was giving information about space. So here the creek is dead totally, and then the culmination was this was a flow cut, and they culminated it into exhibition in Kitab Mahal. There are many people. Tushar was there, then Sharmila was there, Prajakta was there, many people were there. Then I showed this in Kalagoda Festival. I like Kalagoda Festival, people interact, and I did one small workshop, one more. We bought this actually. So it was funded by Pandol Art Gallery again. So again, I like the food way it works. I feel that food is an archival site, and it has an archaeological, if you excavate each layer of food, each ingredient, excavate, it's kind of excavative site, it's archaeological site, and you can just pull on the layers of the food. So in daily ration, there were outcomes. This was the outcome, and this is the reflection of from this earlier sculpture. So somewhere I started bringing people in my practice. So I don't wanted them to be in paintings or my sculptures. I feel that people to bring them into painting, it's very easy. To bring people on in sculpture, to make sculpture of a human figure, it's very easy. It's under your control. But in public space, you can fail. You can't bring people together. There must be reason to bring people together. How can you bring people together? And that was the challenge. How can you mold people's mind? And that is sculpture. So these kind of experiments, I was thinking since long, what happens if I change mind of the people? I can mold clay, but can I mold mind of the people? So here, what I said earlier in earlier sculpture of rice rotis, there are women who are making rotis in our community, and they are not respected. This profession is not respected profession. So I thought, why not work with them? So this was one more outcome, mummified fish. This was shown in Autopolis Folia. This Nupur showed many other my public art projects also. Though manuscript is also a part of this project. So we did recorded a few recipes, and they were handwritten recipes. These were the women's. I did few drawings, and my drawings started from here, from this manuscript. What you had seen in earlier in Autopolis Filia, that is result of this. I did drawings of loss, I think, and recipes which were shared are mostly not made in hotels. They are made only in holy homes. They are dry fish recipes. So we conducted largest roti competition and large dry fish recipe competition. The recipe should be originally made and it should be very very original. And it was fun. Like, and these women were elevated. They felt proud. And earlier there was some guilt because of the conditioning that we are not doing good things. We are selling rotis. This fisherwoman is selling roti was like, so they got transformed, and that is sculpture for me. And I like the way the idea works in public. Is sometimes I feel that 2010 solo sculpture was just nothing. Means you have to do active if you want to do activism. Go into people in social sphere. So these are the dry fish. So title of the project is "Ek Bagal mein Chand Hoga, Ek Bagal mein Rotiya." We worship moon, and we have a moon's. We worship moon for various reasons, because it plays important role in high tide and low tide, and also if you eat fish in new moon, during new moon, fish is more healthy. And if you eat fish in during full moon, fish is not much healthy. Why? I'll tell you. During full moon, the tides are very high and fish has to fish a lot, struggle a lot. They lose their fats. But during new moon, they don't have to struggle. What they eat, they develop a fat and they get tasty. If you eat crab during new moon, it's good. Means it's very tasty. That's what I'll say. This is fishing means fisherman's secret logic actually. So these are the recipes, and we revived two old lost recipes. My mother and Kadambari's granny actually, which is not made. There are young people who don't eat now, but globally dry fish is getting very famous. Recently, I shared two recipes to Canadian University because they had declared dry fish as food security. Because globally, it is the United Nations and many other food institutes are promoting dry fish. That's why China is fishing a lot. So these are the women's. I feel that white cube aesthetic is very different, and you have to work in with locality and their inhabited space. They should feel like it is our space. So I did one. This is the this whole project is about loss of estuary, dead estuary, environment, and many other things, and loss of occupation. So we did mummified objects, like same fish was bought and we applied some materials that is secret. And then the women's wrapped Lenin around it, and I made a sculpture. I like these kind of, now I'm doing a lot of these kind of things. I collected some evidences from creek. These are the bones. Then barnacles, dead barnacles. Barnacles filter water, and these are from dead part of the creek. So I did some sculptures from leftovers. These are my mom's collection. And Tandel Fund of Archives coming to my favorite project. So Koli communities here in Bombay are living since Stone Age. They have their own language. And I call myself now auto-ethnographer, because it's kind of ethnographic narratives I'm collecting, ethnographic, many other things like, I'll start with Tandel Fund of Archives presentation because we have less time. And one day I went to one scholar, XYZ scholar, and I helped a lot. I gave lots of information about my community to her. But I needed one information for my sculpture. And she said, I can't give you. Then I said, I always cooperated with you, but I didn't understand what means why she was not giving me, because I can find out anyways. I was very angry, and I came home and I told Kadambari, my wife, that we are not accessible. We don't access to our information, and I felt really bad. Means why to hoard information here, and our information, my ancestors' information. So I thought, why not start an archive? So we started archive. There is very less archive of Koli people, fishing community of Bombay, and we started from small and very. Sometimes you have to start very nearby or closer. And my uncle and Kadambari's uncle, Shri Dattatreya Mahadev Thanekar, he had documented few means many. He was only photographer in our community. In my village, there are 247 fishing villages. 40 are operating, hundreds are means 10%, 6% operating. And he did lots and lots of photo. He had a lot of photographs, and we did showed it them in Thane, in our Kolivada. It was museum, pop-up museum, first pop-up museum of ours. So I'm just presenting 2 photographs because you have all of them, and others you can see on our website also. So second museum we did in 2019, and Estuaries of Vanning Sound, a socially engaged word bank. Our dictionary is not there. There is no word bank. And we thought that why not collect words? So reflection, or, there are inquiries always going on in our, and those inquiries are ideas. We don't understand. We go to Instagram, we go to Facebook, we see other artists, and then we start art. But I failed in school for 4 years. Why? Because I was speaking in my mother tongue, which is Koli language. My father dropped me in English medium school. So when I go to English medium school, I talk in Hindi and Marathi, Bombay Marathi. In 5th standard, I asked my father, is there any Koli school? I want to go there. I don't understand. And I was feeling in languages, Hindi, Marathi, and English all the time. So first, third, fourth, fifth, eighth, 4 years gone of life. But my father was very patient. My parents were very patient. Each time I failed, they used to give me color boxes, art materials. They knew I was good. But that reflection came here, and we started Word Bank. So we took my uncle is Shahir, means he's a singer, folk singer. He died. He passed away 2 years, 1.5 years back. And with his collaboration, we got 5 poets, and we extracted words from them, and we exhibited in Vitava Kolivada. that is in Thane only. So this was the display, like this. These are the poetries and words, and we did song, Koli song and poetry reading session. It opened with the same. Then what happened that the locals started socially engaging with. They started dropping objects. So indigenous fishing gears they started giving us. There was one guy who had information about creek and all those things, and he had collected different photographs of the fish and fish species, vegetables which are available in estuaries and in ocean. So if you see right side image, there is a blue table. So these are the images. You can see this in our website. So these are the different baskets which are used for fish keeping fish. To keep fish means not from getting decay. And so left side, right side one is for crabs. This is crabs. Then one woman came and she started. She kept in museum this thing. These are the papadis, and these are used during Holi. And I found that this is also museum part of the museum. So she asked me first. Then I asked what papad we are making. So she said, "हम लोग we make for this for Holi." So I said yes, keep it. And then these are words of different fishing gears like fishing nets. The recipes, all the time I like dry fish recipes. I love dry fish, so it's always there. I collect lots of dry fish recipes. Many people know, many scholars know actually, and I share also. So these are written in Koli language, and then we extract. There are food words related to food. Then Kadambari took one aquaponics workshop with local kids, just to engage kids, because there was film screening going on, and one side there was aquaponics workshop. So aquaponics is like you can grow plant, vegetable above and fish in down in the water. There is fish, like you can see on Google. So we did film screening of 6 filmmakers who had worked on fishing communities, and there was a lot of crowd. Means not much, but still socially engaged space is very difficult. To bring people is very difficult. Thank you.
Parag, very interesting.
Thank you.
Enjoy. So this project is ongoing, no? The last, the
Yeah,
Parag Tandel Foundation.
the last museum is coming in Gotha Institute.
Okay.
The whole museum is curated by. There is show curated by Ravi Agarwal on climate change. So the whole museum plus more socially engaged works I'm doing they have given me space in CSVM, Museum, Chhatrapati Shivaji Museum.
Yeah. So when is the show? Like it's on the process?
13 January.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Oh, great.
So you can pop-up museum.
Yeah. That's good. So you're not doing the sculpture sort of stuff now, like the coming shows, like you're working with it.
I'm doing.
You're working with that, okay.
This what is happening, we can do more better. Means like scholars, sometimes what happens, they manipulate. When you write your own history, it is more better.
Yeah.
Because they have different perceptions. Means their knowledge perception is very different. And when you write history of your own history, or means they also, it happens that they don't find. If they don't find evidence, then they don't go very far. But we we know orally many things. Like that's why. So we are doing lots of books of these folk songs, which you will
Yeah.
find on website also. There are radio stars of Bombay.
Oh, okay.
So when radio was launched, then there was kind of regional songs. Songs were there. Then these radio stars, we are publishing books of them. It's kind of anthological publication.
That's an interesting project, man. Like,
But sculpture is there, yeah. I love
no,
sculpture.
I know. I know. Yeah, but when it comes to your drawing to the sculpture, you know what you have the kind of a demarcation. Like you really wanted to. You don't want to mix with. There is it's in a positive way. Like yeah.
Drawing is like you can't bring sculpture into
Yeah.
that's what. That is fact, no, but if you but in the boom time, what was happening during in 2005 or something, 2006 to 8, artists who were making painting, they were converting their images into sculpture, and that was bit problematic. Like you do watercolor, but your watercolor image can't be sculpture.
Yeah, that's true. That's a completely a different justice system.
You do watercolor, you can develop that. Means you can enjoy that in your watercolor only. So that understanding.
We have to respect that it's in a completely different justice system. Each medium has its own system, which sometimes you can't mix. But there are people, they even Richard Serra, you make sculpture and then make drawing out of it.
But
there are a few like
sketches that he does sketches of that.
Yeah, after that also,
after
the
that
work also he sketch. After that, there are a few documentary about that, like when you make the sculpture and then he roam around and sketch.
Yeah, most of the sculpture people do this, because what happens is that you make sculpture and then what happens, you have to study that sculpture, and new forms evolve from those drawings sometimes. So that is very different way of doing sculptural practice. But it is very interesting that Richard Serra's practice is very different.
Hi Parag.
Hi Sajal.
This is Sajal. It's a wrong time, different time for me. But I have wake up and enjoyed the whole presentation. It is really, really wonderful. I don't have some proper appropriate words to express my pleasure, and I can see the way you actually connect your work with your life and still continuing it. I have no such idea about your work, but now I can see the range and your thinking and everything, and really have a lot of respect to your work and practice. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Parag, have you seen this project done by K.R. Sunil from Kerala?
Yeah.
He did a work called Manjukar. It's about the seafarers, who I don't know the word. They use the what do you call that kind of ferry, sort of called Uru, no, in Malayalam. They come from Kerala to Bombay and then many other Arabian countries, even like Oman and other places. Uru. Have you read? So it's a very beautiful project.
We are from that. My grandfather was ocean traveler.
Okay.
Kadambari's grandfather. So Tandel is captain.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay.
Tandel means captain.
Okay.
And Aquas are owner of the ship, and coolies are worker on the ship. police.
Oh, like that. Okay. There is a
Yeah,
yeah.
not hierarchy,
It's a
working.
working
Yeah.
profession.
Not great. Mhm. Yeah. It reminds me of something.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
actually, my grandfather used to buy boats from Kerala
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
to sell in our village, and we still have that boat factory.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Still have, but it's not operating. But we have that land. We have kept it like that only.
Yeah, but still that Uru, no, the ferry, the wooden, I don't know the word ferry or I don't know what it is. We call Malayalam Uru. They're making that, for Arabian countries for tourist, this as a tourist attraction or something like that.
Kerala was famous, no? Kerala was world
Yeah,
famous.
wood. Yeah,
Omanis
wooden.
were the major buyers of these boats from Kerala. That's what. That's why the it's famous for actually the way made.
I think that's in Bepur near Kozhikode.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute, but didn't get properly.
How are you?
But yeah, I have few things to say that your artwork, like basically your sculpture forms, suddenly is turned into a food recipe. Kind of there is some connection between the food and the challenge of sculpture and sculptural language into food. It's quite interesting also because we also like many artists. When I also like basically cooking is also part of our tradition, right? Like fish cooking today also, yesterday also. So there is a lot of connection is there. I think when you're talking about those things, I really connected those elements. Yeah. So it is really interesting. I really connected that. The sculptural language into another kind of formation. Anyways, all the best. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Parag, like you are showing that recipes, right? The recipes which you invited from the community, and you showed a presentation. So in between there were pictures, so that paintings, right? Those were your paintings. Is that anywhere related to that recipes?
Yeah. So what we did, we made a competition of largest roti, and they were awarded. Means they were given money, remuneration, and also award, and the materials also were provided by us, Art Oxygen. And what we thought that recipes must be written somewhere, like so they hand wrote those recipes. But then I thought that I should make some drawings. Means I it was very challenging for me because I never did these kind of drawings, and I entered into another realm because of, and I started doing illustrations related to loss. Then the whole our practice has changed now because of the one project. I went to we are publishing their book. It's Turkish publishing books, and I wrote written 13 poetries or poems also in our language, and God knows means how they are. It's like I have it is very personal. Like drawings, poetry is also personal, and you know. Poetry has that creative perception. Is anybody can be poet, and you don't have to publish a book and just sell a lot, but poetry gives you somewhere it drains your kind of क्या बोलते हैं उसको, भड़ास जो रहता है अंदर का जो एंगर रहता है, and then you write it, and later if you draw something, this poetry can't be drawn, but like there are words which can be later intangible words which can be converted into tangible images also. So that's why I did draw drawings, and that is part of manuscript. But I thought that I haven't drawn around the recipes or something related to recipes. I did what were their problems, ocean, images related to them, where they are from, what they are doing, and why they are doing, and how they are doing, how they are surviving. These questions were very much important in my drawings, I feel. There are inquiries. Like, if I hadn't failed for 4 years in language, and that was my inquiry. Somebody asked me that today I told this story. How could you तुझे idea कैसे आया ये language करने का है? So that was somewhere in my past. The inquiry was, I asked my father, is there because in Malayalam also, or if you go after 3-4 kilometers, language changes. And how there is lots of language in India. So we have to document, recently I got mail from Canada, and I am working on many other very different universities and archiving, that is different world scholars, and so they had sent me mail, and United Nations had declared, if you could do in your area and document language which is dialect. The scholars and Indian government has declared them dialect, but they are not dialect. That is original language, I feel. And United Nations had declared to 2021 to for 10 years, they had declared you have to document all indigenous languages. And this is actually, this program is declared all around the world, and many scholars are working for this. But I just got to know now. My inquiry was different. I asked my father, and that is there any Koli school? Because I can express what I can write in, when poetry written in Koli language is very different from what I write in English language, because that our language is very kind of related to ocean. If you hear songs, I'm going to make on website, new project is coming actually, so I'll share with you people also. It's very interesting, and you have to document this. If Niracharthu, its word is very different. If they can do these things, I can help. This is very. This is how I can talk a lot. This like for that.
Young poet from Trivandrum. Suddenly I forgot his name. I'm just trying to recollect. I forgot his name. He writes poem on the special their language, which is he also calls that language, but it's somewhere similar to Malayalam. That's why we call him Malayalam poet. Very young guy. I think his name is I forgot. I don't know. He's from Trivandrum. I'll find it and let you know. He's actually writing a lot of works. He had a lot of works in that language.
So this is the oldest radio star, and I just take the file and. Is it audible?
Yeah.
So he's a radio star, and there are 2-3 radio stars. We are publishing the book.
Thank you.